Ray says we didn't play well enough against Blackburn to merit a win. However, there's some serious, dubious refereeing decisions. Welcome back to our North End walk. We've got our full team back with us to talk about that Blackburn game. Plus, we're also looking ahead to Wycombe in the FA Cup. Plus, we're also looking at Preston's fixtures for February and appointing the best player in January. And don't forget, we're finishing off the worst ever Preston side at the end of the video by picking the worst ever midfielders. Ash, Etienne and Harvey are here, slightly deflated, fellas, after that trip to Ewood. You usually do so well there. Ash, what happened? You didn't turn up for 65 minutes.
What happened is I took the mick on Twitter too soon. And yeah, it was always going to happen after that when I needed to learn to shut up. And I actually went to the game for the first time in a while, and we lost. So yeah, it was a terrible performance. I don't think we offered off until maybe the 85th minute, and then we actually started trying. And it's a bit concerning when you need Ched Evans to come on the pitch for any of your team to look like they're interested. So yeah, a bit disappointed.
Yeah, bizarre. Cheers for that, Ash. Let's have a look at some tweets from the game. Carl says, Reece Watmore and the ref killed this game. Chris also says, let's be honest, we were poor for 75 minutes, but the ref was an absolute disgrace. We absolutely bottled it. Right, Harvey, let's get into this refereeing debate then. Their penalty and the penalty that wasn't. What's your unbiased take on it?
It's literally a case of two things. It's either one, both of them aren't a penalty, or two, both of them are a penalty. You can't give one and then not give the other. It makes zero sense. The Blackburn's one is absurd. It's two players jumping for a corner. One of them accidentally heads the other's chin, and it's given as a penalty. There's Watmore's not intended to headbutt him. They've both gone for the ball. It's bizarre to me. But then I'm not even just saying this because I'm a Preston fan. I think the Blackburn one's even worse for two reasons. One, Gay's arm's up here, and then obviously his elbow catches his pots enough for him to have cut his lip. And two, if that's not given anyway, it's a handball still because it comes completely off his arm, and Sky replays show it. So I think it's two decisions that the ref has just gotten completely wrong. And I think, given the way that referees get a load of grief at this day and age, I think you've got to maintain a certain standard. And I think you either have to give both or you don't give any. And I think you can't give either way. I just think it's cost us a point, but overall, I don't think we played well enough to earn a point anyways. So.
Yeah, to be fair to our Blackburn fans, they actually agreed with you and said that that should have been a penalty right at the end, there. Etienne, do you agree with this theory that actually, that even if you did get a point, it probably would have been unmerited given the overall performance?
Yeah, I thought we were a bit lackluster, weren't creating much until, as it's been mentioned many times, Ched Evans came on the pitch, which isn't a situation we should be in at this point in the season. Yeah, we didn't look like we were going to do much with the ball, didn't look like we really ever had any threat of challenging Blackburn right until the end when, we kind of got robbed of a draw, but we wouldn't have deserved it.
Okay. Ash, we now had 3 away games. We got Luton, which we've heralded was just a nothing game. Then we went to Watford and we're brilliant. Then we went to Blackburn and we've been pretty average. There's a chance of getting any consistency with this Preston side away from home?
It's really weird because I thought if we're going to go to Luton and go and just try and get a draw the whole game, you could argue you'd probably set up that way against Blackburn with them being just above us as well. I thought the team selection was a bit odd for the Blackburn game. He got it spot on in the previous one, so I'm not quite sure obviously it didn't help Millie being ill. But yeah, it was just weird. It was a kind of a weird performance. It really looked like we looked like most of last season. I know we'll catch grief for saying it was like Ryan Lowe football, but that's exactly what it reminded me of. And the lad I went with was gobsmacked at how poor we were.
Yeah, I mean, Harvey, you were in that away end. You were looking forward to it. And it was a sellout, wasn't it? Away end as well. As every time Preston seemed to just bring thousands to a game, you just seem to let your fans down, don't you?
It's not even that. I think it's just like, even given the occasion, I think you obviously the previous games, you're on a decent run of form. You're starting to you're playing good football, and we were having the conversation last week of, it's like you're starting to dream of promotion, and then you turn up to what the majority of your fans think is a derby, and you play like that. I couldn't believe it. Me and my mate were just saying it was just absurd. It was 90 minutes of, not even 90, like 65, 70 minutes of just long ball, and it was just hopeless. We looked like we couldn't create a single thing, and it was just bizarre. But yeah, we seem to just have a tendency of letting our fans down when it seems to be going really well at the minute.
Okay, let's leave Blackburn alone then. We don't want to talk about it anymore. I promise. Let us drop us a subscribe, by the way, if you've only just found the channel. 20 minutes of Preston chat every single week. Let's have a look at some signings or some new faces or some decisions around the club. Etienne, first one. Kit Nelson. This was announced earlier today. We've recorded this before. Transfer window designs signed a new deal to keep him at Deepdale 2028. He's now going to go back on loan to Cork City. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, big fan of that. Kit is a professional. He's looked good in youth games. There's reasons why he's been included in the matchday squad. So to be able to get him signed down to a long-term deal, immediately sent out on loan, it's just a good bit of business that isn't going to do any harm to him, any harm to us, and hopefully he can come back and be a bit of a squad player.
Okay, good shout. Ash, strange one, this one. Not from a Preston point of view, from a Watford point of view. They didn't need to do this other than to get rid of some wages. But Preston got a new number 2, Ryan Porteous. Thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. Like I've seen him play really well, but I've also seen him like to go for leg breakers on a consistent basis. So the last thing we need is more suspensions. But the Watford fan I was speaking with earlier said actually he's not bad at playing the ball out from the back, which we need all the help we can get there. Just hopefully, like if he pushes forward, I've heard that he pushes forward and sometimes loses the ball, but hopefully Gibson will cover him. But I heard Watford have switched to 4 or are switching to 4 at the back, which is why they might have let him go.
Yeah, but he has been playing regularly for Watford, certainly in the last couple of months, which is a strange one. We'll ask you to review the transfer window next week properly, Harvey. But overall, as a general kind of feel, you've obviously got Gibson early on and he's settled and playing well, plus a few other decent faces. Has it overall been a good window for Preston?
I wouldn't say good, just because I feel like there's maybe like 1 or 2 positions you could have strengthened. But I do feel like overall it's been a decent window, just because Preston aren't typically the club to do business in January anyway. Like I was speaking to Ash earlier, and it is quite amazing that we've done any business in January, because I think we're a club who don't do any usually, because we usually wait until the summer. So I do think there are some good additions. Obviously, I think Gibson's looked unbelievable since he come in. McGowan looked a bit bright, apart from a bit of a shaky performance at Blackburn. So overall, I'm not buzzing, but it's definitely something that I can get on board with.
Okay. All right, then let's have a look at the February fixtures, and we'll talk about the FA Cup game in a second. Thank you very much for that. So Wycombe coming up in a minute. We'll have a preview of that shortly, and then Etienne. It's Norwich away, Burnley at home, then Millwall at home in quick succession. 2 home games in 4 days there, and then of course the team you always beat, Coventry away. So some tough games there. Of those 4 games, how many points do you predict Preston will pick up?
I'm trying to figure out 7. I'd hope for 7 though. I said that I don't think we're going to beat Norwich. I think that's kind of a loss that we kind of have to take. It's a difficult away fixture on a Tuesday night, written in the stars.
That's an awful journey, Preston to Norwich on a Tuesday night. My God.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody's going to be up for that. And it's not necessarily a question of mentality. I just think Norwich do have the quality to go and overturn us. But a game against Burnley at home, with our home record at the moment, I think we could go get another point. I'd be disappointed if not. And then Millwall and Coventry are games that we have to be winning if we're serious about climbing up the table.
Okay. Let's have a little chat about Wycombe then, shall we, though, Ash? I'm not sure how many people are too bothered about this, because you've both of you got bigger priorities. Let's be honest. You've got a chance of playoffs, and they've got a chance of making this a regular fixture next year. How do you see this one going?
I think we should win this, and we should win it well. I'm actually quite interested in it because it doesn't look like we're going to go anywhere in the league apart from mid-table. So if we can push on in the cup, who knows? We might get an easy draw the next round, and we're flying. So I think everyone in the squad will be up for it. I'll be interested to see. I don't think Porteous can play, which means
no, it's good to do.
Yeah, we might have Watmore at the back, which is a concern. Yeah, I'd like to see us just go for it, and at the same time, if we are ahead late on, I wouldn't mind seeing them chuck a couple of the fringe players on, maybe get Felipe on, just to see how he is. And yeah, just it's got to be a win. That if we lose that, I'd be absolutely fuming.
Good. Harvey, is he going to go full strength? We know he should go full strength, but do you think, given the back of his mind, that you've got all these fixtures coming up and a potential chance of playoffs, that he might just switch a few players around?
Yeah, I think you'd hope so, wouldn't you? It's like I said, it's the next few fixtures are coming thick and fast, and they're definitely difficult ones. I can see him playing a strong side, but I'd be very much bewildered if I saw a full strength team against lower league opposition as good as Wycombe are. So I'm hoping for a few rotations. Obviously, hopefully, like I said, see a few fringe players, but I wouldn't want to see the full team against Wycombe in the FA Cup, to be honest.
All right, Etienne, score prediction from you?
Needs to be seeing a 3-0, 3-1 from us. It needs to be a comfortable victory. But again, I would like to see some French players get introduced. Felipe, definitely as well. But yeah, it needs to be a good victory.
Okay. All right. I say we're watching, but it's not on TV, understandably. So good luck. I'll be back here 7 days' time to review it all. January player of the month, Ash, for you would be who?
It's a tough one. Do you know what? Because he's had a good game, and I thought we looked worse without him in the team against Blackburn, I'm going to go with Todd Arson, just because he's actually done something this month. But yeah, we actually look worse with him out of the side, so I think that says something. I enjoyed Mads Frukkiau's performance again, but I think due to the goal, I'm going to give it to Thor for this month.
Okay, good stuff. Harvey?
Mine's Mads, purely because Blackburn, I thought he looked impressive given the fact that we had nothing and a lot of the ball went through him, and I felt sorry for him really because he had so much of the ball and no one to give it to. I thought he looked unbelievable at Watford and Middlesbrough, and I think he's starting to pick up form a bit, and I think he's kind of in that stage where he can decide a game on his own if he wants to, and he's just so creative to watch for me. So Mads gets mine.
Okay. Etienne?
I'm going to stray away from them two and say Osmajic. I think he's shown a bit more of a clinical side to him this month, being able to bury chances of different degrees. His power, his pace against Watford, being able to pick out the corner against Charlton, sending us through from a scare. He's not had the best month. I don't think anybody has. But in terms of seeing a bit of a different side to him, I'd say Osmajic.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Thank you very much, you three. Before we finish, you can help us out with the last little part of our recording today. Who's the worst ever Preston midfielder you've ever had the mispleasure of watching? We've been doing this for 3 weeks now. We've chosen the worst goalkeeper, the worst defender, the worst strikers. Next week, you'll see the whole team and we'll choose a captain and the worst ever manager. But before that, we need a midfield. So, Ash, kick us off, please.
I've got three, and I'm open to discuss on any of them. So pick the worst for me, because I really struggle with. I was trying to think this week of people that Etienne and Harvey might have heard of, instead of going that ancient. So I got Ian Ashby, Kevin Nichols, and Ben Woodburn are the three I decided. But for me, it's Woodburn probably because I just hate the guy. But
all right. Right, cheers for Ash. Etienne?
I completely forgot about Woodburn, sorry. No offence to the guy. I knew about Ashby. I knew how bad he was. But I actually have Izzy Brown and Liam Grimshaw on my list. I think Izzy Brown was just such a waste of time for everyone involved. And Liam Grimshaw, I remember seeing him twice, 3 times, and just thinking this guy is awful. Especially compared to Ben Pearson when I think we signed Grimshaw from Man United as well. And the gulf in quality was just ridiculous. So I've got both of them.
Good shouts. Harvey?
I was torn between three. Obviously, Woodburn was in there. And then I had Josh Onomer, just because I thought on the ball he had his moments, but I just think, one, he looked extremely overweight. And two, I think his work off the ball was atrocious. I think I spent most of my time just watching him follow everybody in just mini footsteps. But the main standout one for me was Tom Bayliss. I think he was like our record sign of like 2 million, and he was just awful. I think he mainly played in like cup games. I think he had a few appearances in the championship, but he was just horrible. And I think every single Preston fan just hates him. So yeah.
All good shouts. Have they forgotten anybody, though? Let us know in the comments, and we'll get some of these mentioned next week. Right. Thank you very much, you three. Great, as always. Do drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Next week is Valentine's Day, of course, so we'll be asking these three about their love stories. How did they fall in love with Preston? At what age were they? What was their first game? And who can they blame for the lifetime of, what can we call it? I don't say tortures, too strong a word, isn't it? But
Gordon. Predictability.
Predictability, Gordon, right, okay. So fill in your own love stories in the bottom here in the comments, and we'll read some of these out next week. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Harvey. Thank you, Etienne. Good luck against Wycombe. We need some championship teams going through into this round. We're dwindling. We've got nearly over half of them are already out. So come on, Preston. Be our saviour. Cheers for that, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week. What's going on? It's not even paused.